Saturday, May 11th. Welcome back, everybody. It is 8:43 p.m. in the Northeast right now. We are taking a look at this low-pressure system that we spoke about briefly last night that went through Texas and Louisiana, still in Louisiana, and now just decimating parts of Mississippi and the Mississippi River, overflowing in many areas all the way up through Arkansas. In fact, a train has derailed. A freight train. No injuries reported, so we're good there at least. But the flash flooding due to these rains we're getting, this insane amount of rain that is falling due to this system dipping down into the Gulf, re-energizing itself, and then coming back north. Due to our jet stream, which also has to do with the El Nino situation. We've been talking about that, how that dip is going to come all the way into the Gulf by the panhandle of Florida. Really quick, some info on this train derailment here. Like I said, a freight train in Pearl River County. A freight train is derailed in Mississippi after heavy rains overnight caused flash flooding. More than 20 cars derailed and were scattered around the washed out tracks near the town of Hillsdale. So that's where it was, in Hillsdale. Authorities say there have been no reports of injuries. That is the great thing. What's not good is what we touched on a little bit yesterday, and that had to do more with the Great Lakes, but this attaches to it, and that is hazardous materials and waste and things like that getting into our water system. Now, this train was carrying cars that had hazardous materials on it, and if those leak into the water and then make it back into the river, that becomes an issue. And that's the same thing I was speaking about with the Great Lakes last night, and those lakes overflowing their banks and then possibly pulling back in contaminated material, any sort of nuclear power plants around the Great Lakes, things like that we really have to pay attention to. But sticking to the topic here, guys, this thing has not changed too much. We did see the lightning down in this area. The lightning now is straight up over Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, now going up through Tennessee and Kentucky. We have tornado warnings. We've had them all day today. We don't have any current as of right now. In fact, I'll refresh this really quick. All right, so about an hour ago was the last warning expired in Virginia. So we've had Virginia, Mississippi, North Carolina, Mississippi, and you can do the rest in your head or go to this website, but it's all due to this low pressure system. Same situation was going on in Texas. They got hit hard by this, and then it dipped down here, and last night we saw all this lightning down in the Gulf, and we spoke about how we knew this was going to get pushed back up. There's always an upflow coming from the Gulf and a trade wind coming from west to east, which is why we have our tornado season a lot that goes up through this area, and that's exactly what's happening now. And this is showing you these gray areas here are where those tornadoes were marked or touched down at one point or another. I have not looked through all of these yet, but some of these were actually touchdown, and these are not going to be over, guys. This is a very severe event going on at the moment. So we're going to take a look at this for over the last 18 hours, if I can get this thing out of the way. So this was a little bit from last night, and now we are entering the period of time where I was not posting, and this is what happened. We had the lightning down here. We had this big explosion of moisture down in the Gulf, and now that is what covered over Louisiana over the last 10 hours and is now causing this situation in Mississippi, and then in turn caused that flash flooding that caused the train derailment. Now, even though the train derailment did not have any injuries or anything with that, it's the point that I'm trying to make here is that these flooding conditions are expected to continue through May and June. And that's not just me saying it or coming up with it out of my head. The state of Mississippi has declared state of emergency over this situation, as well as Louisiana now. And this is what I wanted to read to you here, based on these areas that we need to watch. This is New Orleans. We got Jackson, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, just like we talked about yesterday. Let me read this to you very quick. Widespread rain and thunderstorms are possible across the South this weekend. Flash flooding is expected and is already happening, obviously, because of that train, in portions of Louisiana and Mississippi. Flash flooding is possible from Texas to Virginia. So Texas, you are not done yet with this. And we have another system moving in from the west as we speak, but that will be for another video. Basically, this is going to be like on a repeat cycle, like we had in March 2 years ago now when we had those 4 nor'easters. Just picture those without the snow, even though we've had snow in the Midwest lately, this is what we're going to be dealing with, guys. This is these changes we're going to start seeing. A few more severe storms with hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes are also possible. That is what we were just looking at. So as we check tropical tidbits, we could see why Texas is expected to be involved in this over the weekend. That's because this other system that's coming down by New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, and Colorado right now, still dumping snow in Colorado, which isn't that unusual this time of year. If it moves a little more west, yes, that is a little unusual, but Colorado's Colorado. That's where the mountains are. But as we move forward in this, you can see this thing moves pretty quickly west to east. By Tuesday, it's pretty much going to be pushed out into the Atlantic, but this thing is going to dip down into Texas and really keep them under the gun, basically, to say it lightly. And that's not it. I mean, if we were to just go forward in time, we just see system after system doing its thing. I mean, this is going to be fun if this stays as is for Minnesota and Iowa, still along the Mississippi River. The Mississippi River is like 2,238 miles long. It runs all the way down from Louisiana through Minnesota. So the river carries a heavy amount of water, a large amount of water, and just like we were talking about, these systems are going to overflow its banks in many states, not just down in the Gulf states. It's going to start there. It already has started there, but by the time we are in that mid-springtime, early summer, that's when we really have to start focusing on the mid part of the country and the northern part of the country as far as the river goes and the Great Lakes. Now, again, this contamination issue, you're going to be seeing a lot of that on the news coming up soon. And also, take a look by the 20th, May 20th, which is in 9 days. It looks like that western area I was talking to you about near Washington, Oregon, and Northern California, the Sierra Nevada mountains, they're going to get hit again. You can see that right there. They get highlighted every time they get hit hard like this, and the back end is snow, and then that moves right into the southern areas of Nevada and Utah while this is going on up here. I mean, this could possibly be one of those bomb cyclone situations. I'm not making any predictions. Don't quote me on that. But by the looks of this and the pressure number there, 989, if that goes from 1,000 to about 980, that's 20 millibars. You get 4 more. That's considered a bombogenesis situation or a bomb cyclone on land. That's it's unlikely. We've seen it. It just happened recently, but for it to happen again would be pretty bad, especially with the warm water and it being right up by the Great Lakes and the Mississippi River. I'm going to try to keep this one short for you, but guys, if you live in Louisiana or Mississippi, I'm sure you're already very much aware of this situation. So this is mainly for people who are looking for extra info or looking for anything that's coming up in the near future. Right now, we need to focus on these tornado warnings. Anyone that lives on the banks of the river, the Mississippi River, you got to be on your toes about this because it's going to move up into the Tennessee area, and then it's going to kind of flatten out. Like I said, it's more of a west to east system, and then it's going to break off into the northeast as a separate system. So if I back this up here, you can kind of see how that's going to happen. So you see the main part of this system, it's going to clip PA in New York. There's no doubt about it before it goes out into the Atlantic, rather. But then you see like this little piece kind of hang around right there, and it breaks off into a separate low being pushed by a high. And then there you go. It looks like almost a nor'easter, and that's going to be, like I said, another video for the Northeast we're going to make, but that's going to be coming by Tuesday, and that's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, possibly Thursday, going into next weekend. And then, like we just said, that's when we need to watch the West Coast, when that extra system is going to come through Washington, Oregon, and California. So wanted to get this info out to you guys. This thing's causing train derailments, car accidents, you name it. It's just, it's not a good situation. 6 inches of rain in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That was in a short period of time. We read this already, so let's just take a look at this chart one more time before I let you guys go. And anytime you see these reds, guys, you got to be concerned about that if you're in any of those areas. I suggest local Doppler radar sites, things like that. When you're looking at a site like this, you kind of get an overall idea of what to expect, but the detail, county by county type stuff, you don't get that with these charts. This is basically, you could follow the system wherever it goes and get the hot spots, and we could see right at the border now. And basically, the border of Alabama and Mississippi is where the main source of this is going on now. And I got rid of the lightning chart, unfortunately, but you can imagine, I showed you before, the lightning going on here is just as dangerous as the flooding itself, especially when you're getting 20 and 30,000 strikes within a couple hours. That is just unbelievable number. So that's what I got for you right now, guys. Mississippi River, Great Lakes, and the states in between. Everyone's on their toes right now. And then check this out. This is coming down from Canada. This is like polar weather, guys. This is unreal. Some of these temperatures up here are going to be below freezing in the next 48 hours because of this system that is just dropping down from Canada. We don't see this a lot. We do when we get a low dip in the jet stream and there's a system that moves up like we're currently seeing. We'll get to see these systems come down right over the middle of the country. But this one's spinning counterclockwise already, and you see these blues and purples. That's very cold. It's going to be cold, and we could see some snow with this. Washington, you're always going to see snow. You'll see snow in June sometimes. So we'll leave that for another video as well. But if anyone wants to check out this Tornado HQ website, right before I get there, this is the Mississippi River, by the way. Well over 2,000 miles, runs all the way up the middle of the U.S., all the way up into Canada. But here is the Tornado website. It's tornadohq.com. You punch that in, and it's a beta site, so it's not 100% accurate, but I've said this in past videos, it is and has been very accurate lately. I will be back with any other updates. I do plan on having another video tonight, another live stream possibly, and we'll go from there. But everyone in the path of this right now, please just stay safe and stay informed. That's your best bet for right now. And if you can help staying in your house, if you're not in an area that's being flooded, I would do so. I would wait this one out. Louisiana, you probably got another 10, 12 hours of the severe part of this system. That's not talking about what's coming after this. Like I said, once this moves out, we got this right here moving into Texas on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It'll start clipping Louisiana. We might be dealing with a similar situation that we are right now. Things can change. 5 days out. Weather predicting is not something you want to really get in the habit of doing. You can look at it and get an idea, but you don't want to make anyone, you don't want to over-exaggerate anything, and I don't try to do that here on this site. But this is what it is, guys. It is a major system, and it's something we need to continue to watch. So with that said, I'm going to let you go. Thank you guys so much for all the feedback last night. Hopefully we get the same tonight, and hopefully I can get this live stream thing going. I'm still trying to set it up the right way, and we'll get there when we can, guys. Have a great evening. If I don't talk to you, if not, tomorrow is another day, and it's Mother's Day, remember. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.